नमस्ते बिटिया, हमेशा खुश रहो। A very good morning to you all. Myself, JBM Dr. Ravi Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Practice of Medicine at Faculty of Homeopathic Science in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. In today's clinical lecture, we are going to discuss about the clinical pattern of symptoms that we commonly see in case of renal disorders. So in today's lecture, we are going to see the clinical pattern, how the patient of renal disorders present to us in case of an OPD or IPD. So today's clinical class is totally based on the clinical pattern of the symptoms that are commonly presented by a patient of renal disorders. First of all, the disease of acute renal failure. There are various clinical patterns how a patient can present to us. A patient of renal disorder can present to us as a case of acute renal failure. So, acute renal failure is the occurrence of recent decline of renal function. How will you come to know whether this is a patient of acute renal failure or acute nephritic syndrome or chronic renal failure or whatever the disease may be? So, first of all, in case of acute renal failure, there is occurrence of recent decline of the renal functions over days, leading to oliguria or anuria. That constitutes syndrome of acute renal failure. Second one is the acute nephrotic syndrome. So first of all, in acute renal failure, there is a decline, the recent decline of the renal functions over the days, leading to oliguria. Oliguria is reduced urine output, or anuria. Anuria is total absence of up to 30 ml of urinary output in a day or 24 hours, constitute of the syndrome called as acute renal failure. Next one is acute nephritic syndrome. Acute nephritic syndrome is characterized by acute onset of oliguria, hematuria. Hematuria is microscopic or macroscopic. Proteinuria, that is less than 3 grams of protein per day, hypertension, edema, and azotemia with urine of high specific gravity and smoky in appearance. So acute nephritic syndrome is characterized. This is acute nephritic syndrome, nephritic syndrome. It is characterized by acute onset, means sudden onset of oliguria. That is sudden reduction in the urine formation, urine output. Hematuria, that can be microscopic or macroscopic. Proteinuria of less than 3 grams per day. Hypertension, that is increased blood pressure. Edema and azotemia with a urine of high specific gravity and smoky in appearance. Third one is the nephrotic syndrome. Nephrotic syndrome is defined as massive proteinuria. In nephritic syndrome, the urine was the protein was less than 3 grams per day. But in nephrotic syndrome, the protein output in the urine is greater than 3.5 grams per day with hypoalbuminemia, periorbital or pitting edema. There is pitting edema most commonly observed in the extremities, hyperlipidemia and lipiduria, and passage of fat globules in urine, and coagulopathies. Various kinds of coagulopathies are observed. So, nephrotic syndrome characterized by massive proteinuria, greater than 3.5 grams per day, hypoalbuminemia, periorbital or pitting pedal edema, hyperlipidemia and lipiduria, that is passage of fat globules in urine, and coagulopathies. Fourth condition is chronic renal failure. In chronic renal failure, there is a clinical syndrome of uremia that is occurring as a result of slow, insidious, irreversible deterioration of the renal function. So there is, what is there? There is slow and insidious, irreversible deterioration of the renal function. So in chronic renal failure, since this is a chronic disease, so the changes are taking place slowly, slow, insidious, and there is irreversible deterioration of the renal functions that are manifested by excretory, metabolic, neurological, hematological, and endocrinal abnormalities. So different kind of abnormalities are there. We have So it is a clinical syndrome of uremia that is occurring as a result of slow, insidious, irreversible deterioration of the renal function that is manifested by excretory. Excretory functions are disturbed, metabolic functions are disturbed, neurological functions are disturbed, Hematological functions and endocrinal abnormalities are present. Now, the fifth condition is asymptomatic urinary abnormalities. So there are some urinary abnormalities present in the patient, but there are no symptoms. So it is done by detection of isolated hematuria. There can be condition of hematuria with no other symptoms. Isolated proteinuria, that is presence of protein in urine with no other symptoms. Unexplained pyuria, that is pus cells in urine without any other cause during screening procedures. So whenever you are doing the screening procedures, there can be isolated hematuria, isolated proteinuria, unexplained pyuria, and without any presence of any other symptoms or routine medical checkup for employment or life insurance purposes. It constitutes of asymptomatic urinary abnormalities. Next one is the urinary tract infection. Urinary tract infection is a midstream urine sample. During the UTI, a midstream first sample of urine is taken, appropriately collected under aseptic condition, and the colony count, if the colony count of bacteria is greater than 105 per ml, it indicates urinary tract infection in symptomatic patients. Next one is the renal tubular defects. Renal tubular defects are anatomical and functional, which are either inherited or acquired. So there can be inherited or acquired defects in the anatomical and functional capacity of the renal system. Anatomical defects such as the cystic disease, that is polycystic and medullary cystic disease, and medullary sponge kidneys. These are usually identified during investigations for hematuria, bacteria, flank pain, or azotemia. The USG and radiological diagnostic techniques confirms the diagnosis of renal tubular defects. So we have polycystic kidney disease, both polycystic and medullary sponge kidney. Next one is the nephrolithiasis. This is a very important disease for homeopathic physicians. These are renal colic, painful hematuria, unexplained pyuria. So there is renal colic, that is most common phenomenon, painful hematuria. Unexplained pyuria, that is pus cells in the urine, dysuria, difficulty in passing the urine, and urinary frequency, that is increased frequency of passing urine. It raises the suspicion of a renal stone. Passage of stone, visualization of a stone on plain X-ray, especially X-ray KUB region, or on the removal of surgery or on cystoscopy, confirms the diagnosis of stone disease, renal stone disease, that is nephrolithiasis. Next one is the urinary tract obstruction. Urinary tract obstruction is characterized by oliguria and uria, oliguria, reduced frequency of urine, and uria, absence of urine, polyuria, nocturia, urinary retention, azotemia, slowing of the urinary stream, and large prostate, large kidneys, flank pain and tenderness, a full bladder after voiding are some of the diagnostic clues for urinary tract obstruction. So this was all about the various conditions for which the patient is coming to us and how to recognize these clinical conditions. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss about the urogenetic history taking. That is, if a patient is coming to us with a renal disease, what are the questions or what are the things that are needed to be asked in case of renal disease. So this was all about today's lecture. This session was powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box and I'll try to resolve. So this was all for today. Thank you very much. We will be meeting in the next lecture. Thank you.